Hey, do you want to make thousands, millions, heck, billions of dollars? What? Opening your own cleaning business? Then you've come to the right place. All it takes is these easy steps.
Step 1, get supplies from Walmart.
Step 2, get customers. Get thousands of them from Craigslist.
Step 3, find a place to put all that money. Maybe a fireproof safe or something.
We got people making millions, no billions, overnight.
Now.
All by running a cleaning business.
Whew. Man, that was exhausting. Of course, all of that was a complete joke. In reality, it takes much longer than an hour, one night, 1 week, 1 month. It's going to take potentially years for you to make it big in the residential cleaning industry. But the good news is you can make it big, because there's one guy here that can prove that, and that's me. I started my own cleaning company in Pensacola, Florida. So we're going to have a seat and talk to you a little bit about that story and how we made it big, so that you can, at the same time, become your own future millionaire. Of course, that was all a complete joke. In reality, it takes much longer than an hour, one night, 1 week. It's going to take, in some cases, years for you to actually build a huge, growing cleaning business. So how do you actually build that business? How do you create a big cleaning business that's making some real waves in our industry? Well, there's 3 steps. And we're going to talk about all 3 of those steps. But the easiest thing to do is talk a little bit more about how we got started, how Two Maids and a Mop got started, because that's real life. This isn't textbooks. This is real life here. So what did we first do? What did Two Maids and a Mop first do back in 2003? Well, the first thing we did, David, was create a vision. And at the time, I was sitting in this, I've talked about this before, sitting in this very small office space. It was about 250 square foot, and it had these great ugly wooden walls, and there was, of course, the railroad tracks around us. And I still remember using that desktop computer, because back then we didn't have laptops that much. We had desktop computer, and I typed out our actual vision statement. So step 1 is create a vision. What was our vision back in 2003? And this is going to sound plausible today, but this sounded absolutely crazy in 2003. We wanted to be the fastest growing cleaning company in America. And remember, this was 2003 when we were in Pensacola, Florida. We had 2 part-time employees and myself, and maybe a handful of customers. So for me to say I wanted to be the fastest growing cleaning company in America was crazy. Maybe even lunatic. What's the word? Lunatic.
A lunatic.
Yeah. But here we are. In fact, Inc. magazine named us this last year as the fastest growing cleaning company in America. And times are really good right now. Now, that took 11 years for us to really realize that dream. And we've got even more dreams now that we've accomplished our initial vision. But vision sounds easy. Okay, just type out a quick sentence and you got a vision. But you need to look inside and determine what you want your vision to be for your business, because it doesn't always have to be about money. If you think about what I just said about our vision, the fastest growing cleaning company in America, none of that talked about money. And not a lot talked about the hard work that's required either. We'll talk about that in a minute. But don't go straight to, I want to be this rich millionaire, because it's not always about that. Now, sometimes that's a byproduct of that. Sure. But that's not always the real reason to create a vision statement for your business. In fact, there's books on vision statements that you can buy on Amazon or whatever that will go into a lot more depth that we're going to talk about. But I can tell you what we did, or at least I did on my part. I really wanted to think, well, what do I want this brand to be? I wanted us to scale. I wanted us to grow. I wanted us to have a national presence. And I knew that it was going to take a lot of work. I knew that it was going to be a lot of time. And but I also knew that that's what I wanted. And that's what grounded me at all times. So David, can you talk a little bit more about how to craft a vision statement for your business? Because it doesn't always have to be, don't start typing, I want to be the fastest growing cleaning company in America, because that's just what we did. It can be about your local, market, community, or whatever.
Yeah, Now, I do want to say it is great to have a big vision. I mean, if you don't have a big vision, you won't have big success. If you won't have a destination in mind, it's going to be difficult to get there. However, you do have to take into account, and Ron has already alluded to that, you have to take into account the work that goes along with that vision, the time that goes along with that vision, the sweat, the blood, the tears that's going to go into making that vision a reality. So you can't just make it some ethereal, I want to be a billionaire statement. It's got to actually say, this is really what I want out of my life. It's a vision. It's a purpose. This is what I want to happen, and this is what I want to see develop. And you've got to know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, and you're going to need to map that out. That actually kind of leads us into to step 2. Once you have that vision, that idea of where you want to be, and that buy-in that you're going to have to that, you're going to then need to take another step. That leads us to that step.
So step 1 is create this vision statement. Spend time on that. Spend real time planning where you want your family to be, where you want to be, and where your business to be in 1, 5, maybe 10 years from now. Once you have that vision, that's going to ground you all the time. No matter what happens, good or bad, because there will be some bad, that's going to keep you grounded so that you can make the correct decision to keep that business moving forward. Now, after you've got that vision statement crafted, by the way, you can't make vision statements every other week. You got to stay rooted with that vision statement. Once you have it, then you need to chart your path. You need to actually think about where you're going to go, because there's going to be different turns and different twists, ups and downs throughout that journey. So, David, talk about what it means to chart your path. So, step 2, by the way, is chart your path.
So 20 years ago, we had maps, basically. If you wanted to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast, you had to have a map to get there. You know, if you were starting in Virginia and you wanted to go to Los Angeles, you would have to look at a map, plan out your interstates, plan out your stops. You'd have to do all that and know which, where you were going to turn left, where you were going to take exits. You had to plan all that ahead of time. Now, of course, you have to do that at a business as well. You have to know what turns you're going to take. You have to know what steps you're going to take to get there. And you need to have 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. You need to have that worked out. These are the things I hope to accomplish in order to get me to that destination. Now, of course, today, if you're, I don't know, under the age of 25, you're like, what's a map? I don't even know what that is. And you use a GPS, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to chart your course
today. What does the GPS stand for?
Global Positioning System.
Okay, good.
I'm glad I knew that.
I know. Put him on the spot.
So anyway, a GPS system is what we use today to chart your course. You just plug in the destination and it takes you from A to B just like that. Everything's planned out for you. Now that's interesting. In most businesses, there's not just GPSs that you can say, I want to get to this destination and this is how I get there every turn of the way. Now, interestingly enough, Two Maids and a Mop has a franchise system that can be your GPS.
Absolutely.
It can help you with every turn, every step, from leasing to how to hire employees, to the systems you're going to use, to how to get customers. You name it. We actually, not that Cleaning Business TV is here to sell franchise for Two Maids and a Mop, no, but actually that is what we do. We provide that GPS system to reach your vision and to reach the destination you want to get to.
Yeah. So along the way, as we built those systems, there were certainly lots of twists and turns, and in some cases, I didn't always see them coming. But at the same time, I also knew that when something negative occurred, and no matter what it was, there was always something occurring, especially when you're a small business and you're doing all this stuff by yourself. I knew there was going to be some expectation of some type of disaster. So when that occurred, I was ready. I was ready to take charge and make something positive happen out of that negative. This applies to cleaning businesses, at least this talk does, but this could apply to almost any business out there, because every business kind of goes through the same path. In fact, most people this is where they really lose it. They just assume they're going to be really good at something. People are going to start buying their product or their services, and they're all of a sudden going on a boat. It just unfortunately doesn't work that way. There's going to be twists and turns and ups and downs, and you have to understand that they're going to come your way. But you have to also know that when they when they do take you in this direction or that direction, that you understand where you got to get back to. That road leading to your vision statement is always there, and you cannot take a left turn or a right turn. So you've created your path, you've charted your path. Now what do? You've got a vision statement, chart your path.
Yep.
Third step, this is the easy one.
Yeah.
Just do it. Execute. Unfortunately, most people stop right there.
Right.
They talk a lot about it. In fact, I am somewhat guilty of this, David. In the early days, I read book after book after book. I still have all those books. They actually sold hard copy books in the early 2000s. Sure. I read Seth Godin's Purple Cow, Jim Collins' Good to Great, the Kinko's story, Chick-fil-A story. Chick-fil-A is a great chicken place here in the Southeast. The E-Myth, The Art of the Start, and then, of course, my favorites were always about Warren Buffett, and has nothing to do with the billions and millions of dollars he has. But I read all those books, and I looked long and hard at different strategies and different ideas on how to build this business, and felt like I really knew what I was doing. But there was one day that I kind of looked in the mirror and I say, man, Ron, you do know what you're doing, but you're not doing anything about it. You're just talking about it, and you're thinking about it, and you're hoping. At some point, you got to do it, and you've got to understand that when you do it, it's not going to always be perfect. And, you're going to make mistakes, and I know I've said this a bunch already. You're going to have twists and turns and ups and downs. You got to accept that's part of the reality when it comes to to a cleaning business or any business. So just do it, and we talk about being the easiest step, but it's so ironic that it is usually that's the step that always slows people down.
Yeah, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and I've got a vision for where I want to be, and I've got a plan even for where I want to be. But when the rubber meets the road and you actually have to get off the sidelines and actually do something, this is where a lot of people, their throat seizes up, they start sweating, and they're actually going to have to put real money and real effort and real sweat and real tears into making this reality. And that's where most people actually jump off. So execution is a huge and
that can't
a definite step.
That can't be taught. You can't read a book and learn how to execute. You just got to have it right here. You got to really want to do this. And that really is what slows people down. Is the vision statements are great. The charting your path is great. But at some point doing it really means you're dug in. And that's going to tell the tale. If you're really wanting to do this, then you're going to do it. And I know that sounds crazy and maybe a little bit elementary, but that's the case for me. I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a baseball player. I didn't necessarily want to own a cleaning business, but I do, and I love it, and I wouldn't change a thing. But in those early days, I had to still have the same feeling I have right now. It's easy again to say, man, of course you love it because fastest growing cleaning company in America.
Right.
But nobody knew who we were back in 2003, and I still loved it just as much then as I do today. And I did it. You got to do it, and you can only do it if you really believe in yourself.
That's right.
So let's kind of talk about those three things real quickly, and then let's have a little bit of an illustration of how that really works in the real world. Kind of a funny story we'll talk about as well.
Okay.
So 1, create that vision. 2, chart your path, and then 3, do it. So one of David's favorite shows is Summer Vacation. What's it called? National
Lampoon.
Yeah.
Any of the vacations except for the Vegas one.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, rough.
One too many.
But the first one, it goes through basically exactly what we're talking about. When Clark W. Griswold wants to go to Wally World, he has the destination in mind, right? They're going to Wally World. Now they had to use maps, so along that path is where we watch this movie, basically, and you see twists and turns, you see mistakes, you see grandmas, you see dogs, you see all kind of different things going wrong for them, and yet his passion and his vision and his destination drove him throughout the whole movie to get to Wally World. And that has to drive you. There's going to be twists that you're not going to see. There's going to be turns you're not going to see. There's going to be pitfalls that you're not going to see when starting your own business. And you have to account for that. Just like Clark W. Griswold did. There were things that he was not expecting, but he had his vision clear, his destination clear, and then what did he do? He did it. He got his family in the car, he executed that vision at all costs, and got to his destination.
But he also had one heck of a station wagon that endured all sorts of damage.
That's true.
And then he also didn't have the best vision statement in the world because it was closed.
That's true.
And then he almost went to jail too.
Yeah.
So
you need to find out if you can actually do your vision statement.
And don't do anything criminal. Don't go to jail.
That's right.
Yeah. So hopefully that was informative. It's the word big gets used a lot, and that's why we started with the infomercial, because we wanted to sort of illustrate how many people use it.
Yeah.
Almost as if it's a scam. But it's doable. I'm one guy that started in Pensacola, Florida, that had 2 part-time employees, and we did it. We made it big. So you can do it too, whether you're in the cleaning business or really any other industry. So hopefully you've learned a lot today.
Yep.
And been inspired and motivated, and now start doing it. Just don't beat us.
That's right. And we'll see you next week.
See you later.
For Cleaning Business TV.